And I said I would rather be seen as the weak president than to split the ANC, because that is not my mission. My mission is to keep the ANC united.
Hey, how's it, everybody? Welcome back to FANatics. And I don't even want to go into load shedding because it is running an absolute shambles with our schedule and trying to bring this beautiful production to you. But anyway, we are here. The Badge of Liberty is present. Sholin and I are present. We have had to sacrifice, not in the literal sense, Tiego this afternoon, who has become a victim of the load shedding dragon. But alas, we continue. Guys, remember to follow us at Badge of Liberty, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, as well as TikTok, particularly on TikTok, where Sholin himself puts together some awesome little 15-second clips of news that we think is important that you should know. And we'd love to get your reactions to that, which we dive into occasionally here on Freedom FANatics on your reactions with Mbali. But without further ado, let us dive into this week's conversation, Sholin. And it's one, you are at university, and I've been a student, and I think this is an issue that might be close to some of our audience. And this is the news last week that a TUKS student was regrettably and sadly shot in an armed mugging in Hatfield in Pretoria on his way to his residence at TUKS. The robbers wanted to, they succeeded in stealing his cell phone, and regrettably during the incident he was shot and unfortunately died on the scene. His name was Thapelo Menwe. He came from Zeerust, and he was doing a finance degree at TUKS, doing his honors, his BCom honors in international auditing. So no doubt had a very bright future ahead of him, and it's really is a sad story. But Sholin, I think my reaction to this is obviously it's very sad, and it's regrettable that we don't feel safe out here on the streets, on the pavements or around campuses. I mean, these are real student concerns.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Alex. I agree. I mean, like, my guy, it just gave me a flashback of when the GBV thing, especially sparked up at UCT regarding Nene, if I remember the name correctly. And I was just like thinking, my first thought was, as sad as that is, I was just thinking, like, if we cannot even guarantee the safety and security of like some of South Africa's most talented, potentially educated individuals like this guy as well, like going into the finance sector, how can we not be keeping, our next generation of leaders, of intellectuals safe? Like, if we cannot do that for them, what is the chances of keeping it safe, or keeping safety and security for the rest of South Africans? And I mean, that should probably be our biggest concerns. I mean, as a student, the immediate opportunity to get out of this country would be, as an intellectual, as a student, somebody who's getting an education, who's getting skills, the opportunity to get out of the country would be your first option. You would not even think twice. I mean, even just with load shedding, every conversation I just had on campus is people complaining that we cannot even study in our accommodation or in our res, and now they need to come to university, and coming to university also has a concern of its own, like this incident is the safety. You're not even safe going to campus because the situation is you will have to be there in darkness, and that is already a greater concern. So I really think it's unfortunate. I mean, it's not a conducive environment even for learning, Alex.
Yeah, exactly. And such, I love that you link it in a way to your own experience of how load shedding kind of interferes with that, and like how You know, we just can't have nice things when we can't be safe. Can't have nice things as a country when we have load shedding. For example, I know when I was at university, lighting on campus on walkways was a very big issue at the time. For the same safety and security reasons, if there's no power, if there's no lights, there's no safety. But I think just more broadly, Sholin, it seems like, you know, obviously we highlight this one story because it, you know, it maybe hits closer to home for us as graduates, as current students, appealing to a younger audience. But, you know, we can't, it's just a sort of an example of the state of affairs in the country more broadly. I mean, you know, yeah, what are your thoughts?
Alex, I'm just thinking now, I'm like, yo, my bro, I just wish that we had a president that was actually more concerned with, you know, at the state of affairs of all of the people of the country and not just his specific political party, as we saw at our clip at the beginning. I mean, if this man could just prioritize the basics, and that's the basics we constantly advocate for, which is just the ability to operate in a safe environment. Like, give us that. And that is enough of a platform to see the type of prosperity I'm sure everybody wants. I mean, from that, we can actually see businesses operate. I'm even just thinking in my community, like where I'm from, there is certain situations where even if it's not even load shedding, besides that, when it hits evening, so many businesses like small spaza shops or community businesses, like they close immediately, because they understand that it's during that periods where the shops are most at risk of literally being robbed. I mean, you just think, imagine having a situation where, you know, you can't even go to the shop after 6 o'clock because the shop owners won't be there because everybody's huddled into their homes.
Well, it's like a self-imposed curfew, right? I mean,
exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly true. I'm like, there's nothing conducive or safe of environment like that. And I'm like, it's so unfortunate that that's actually the communities we have to live in. I mean, even when your police office, police station in your community is like, oh, now we're not going to deal with any cases after a certain time. That's when you know things are messed up, my guy.
Just the absolute Wild West. And like, as we say every week, guys, 2024 is around the corner. These are kind of things that you need to be thinking about when you head to the polls, not if, when you head to the polls. But yeah, these are the kind of things that we should be taking to heart. Own that decision, own that vote. But Shonan, let's move on to our second feel-good feature. You know, this time we as we have done, we look at some success stories, some interesting stuff from Kasi Economy on Twitter. Great account. If you guys don't follow it, you should do it now. But this story now, I'm gonna have to do this in chunks, because on the one hand, the story was, well, what Kasi Economy shared was really cool. So let me do it slowly. Okay, so basically what they're featuring here is that in the location, you can have your wall painted, an advertisement painted onto it, and you can generate income via that. Now, Sean, I don't know about you, but in Joburg, you know, when you drive into Joburg, especially on the M1 between Pretoria and Johannesburg, there are hundreds of big billboards. Obviously, a lot of companies deriving income. So I guess scaling this to small businesses before we jump into the rest of the advert here, quite a cool initiative to get your walls branded. What do you think about it?
Yeah, no, absolutely agree. I think it's innovative. I mean, there's people thinking definitely outside of the box and making use, and it's a collaboration, essentially, that's what it is, between, I assume, small businesses or even big businesses. This can be scaled up to in townships where, you know, maybe there isn't infrastructure to have these massive billboards that go up into the skyline. I think this is still a useful tactic to use and to advertise businesses. And I mean, this is so, like, it's so creative, I think, that it's not even dependent on, you know, when is the government going to give me permission to do this. It's people taking it, striving for it and going ahead with it. Because they know that they need to get a source of income at whichever means necessary. And I mean, I applaud that creativity.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, it would be a pity to have, every wall in every sort of city, township, location, neighborhood sort of branded with adverts. But alas, I think it's still a cool initiative. Like we said, it's you got to put these billboards on highways. Why not in the township? But like this is cool, and I think the feature was relevant. But I did have a little bit of a chuckle when I saw the featured image for this particular ad, or the image that TUKS Economy chose to feature. Obviously, where there's a need, there's a gap for every product, but none less than in Mzansi. But there you go, guys. Like you say, where there's an opportunity, it's there for the taking. But so that is the initiative that TUKS Economy featured, I think, this morning. But yeah, nice, cool little initiative showing the value of small business enterprise.
Yeah, Alex, at least they are advocating for safe sex, and I mean that is a good point of departure. Exactly. At least that's what they're doing, and at least there's an income being generated by this. So I mean, they have my support.
100%. Cannot disagree with you there, Sholin. On that note, we're going to be very brief this morning. Load shedding is catching us. We've got to fight it. We've got to get there in between. We've already had Tioko sacrifice to the load shedding gods. So without further ado, we're going to jump into your reactions today with Mbadi.
Yo, what's up? Hey, hi guys, welcome to your reactions. Let's try to beat load shedding. I think we have about 10 minutes. Let's go. So guys, today we're checking out a video from Sholin, our TikToker, and here he's talking about a KZN teen who torched a deputy principal's car and was released on a warning. Let's give it a listen.
After a KZN learner was accused of torching a deputy principal's car, the student has now just been released on a warning. Is this a bad look for accountability and responsibility in South Africa? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below.
Definitely for me it is. Alex, let's start with you. What do you think?
So I didn't know that Jordan posted this, and when I saw it yesterday, I was like, wow, that is wild, man. Like we had some wild things happen at school. Like there were stabbings, and people from other schools came and people were stabbed like outside of gates and stuff. But like my favorite thing I think of this is Sholin's inherent reaction to like getting off on just a warning. It's wild,
bro.
Yeah,
like literally just a warning, Sholin. And I think we know where you stand, but maybe you can share your thoughts.
Yeah, no, I thought it was absolutely ludicrous. I was like, imagine burning down a senior staff member car in the parking lot and just getting, it's not even a slap on the wrist, my guy. It's just being told, nah, don't do it next time.
But
I mean, that is the worst.
There was also, I think, an incident a couple of weeks ago where a kid petrol bombed a class because he had his phone confiscated by the teacher. Sorry.
What is wrong with these kids?
We should be laughing. That's serious, guys.
We actually shouldn't be laughing. Anyway, let's go to the first comment. This person says he needs serious help. Do you guys think maybe it's like a mental issue? I don't know. I'm going to push it to that. Do you think he's mentally ill? He's not okay? Sholin? Is Sholin load shedding? I hope not.
He's frozen. Sholin, are you with us?
Are you? He looks like he's blinking. Blink twice if you need help. Huh?
Sorry, guys. My network is just really bad on this side.
Okay, cool.
So I apologize for that. Sure.
Okay,
but I just
we have you back. So the comment is he needs serious help, and I was asking, do you think it's a mental issue? Do you think he's not okay mentally?
Yeah, there definitely needs to be something deeper than that for him to give this reaction. I mean, like, this would probably be based on one of the perfect examples why we need more school counselors throughout South Africa schools. Because I mean, for your first reaction to be like, nah, I'm not even gonna go and argue or scowl. I'm just gonna go burn down something without even considering the repercussions. Definitely something is wrong. And even more broadly speaking, I mean, we don't even see accountability for some of the leaders of this country. So I definitely think, like, if we can't even set the standard up there, how do we expect this to be done at the lowest levels of accountability? So I mean, in argument that this kid could even have is like, he sees that, there's no consequences for actions of criminality by some of our leaders. Why should we expect that there will be accountability for him?
Which is really sad, hey? Which is honestly sad. And Rosh says that's bad. Others will do the same, knowing that he will get away. Alex, do you think this is now like a thing where it's gonna spark more violence in high schools?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely a precedent, etc. But I think there's also the important thing to remember here is how important schools are in shaping the attitude of young people, and how discipline at schools, how important that really is. So I think, I think it's also down to parents holding their schools accountable for ensuring that kids are disciplined within the necessary structures. You've got disciplinary proceedings, you've got suspension, you've got expulsion options, you've got hearings that take place to determine whether an act or whether a misdemeanor warrants a suspension or any sort of action. And I think, I think really we've got to encourage parents to get involved in their children's education, not just on like a curriculum level, but really in helping the schools to ensure this kind of thing doesn't happen again.
Yeah, definitely. So the parents will definitely help with the school, but do you not think maybe the issue starts at home? Do you not think maybe the discipline where it's like flawed is actually with the parents?
I think there's definitely an element. I mean, look, none of us are parents here, but
praise the Lord.
Not that I know of, Alex.
Is there any little badges of liberty running around Ocean View?
Hey, bro.
Give baby daddy cool.
I was just saying your freedom is worth fighting for.
Yes, Charlotte, you need the advert for the condomizing, my friend. Head of Gus economy. But no, I think, Mbali, like bringing it back to making it real, I think, parents should not be outsourcing discipline to schools. I think it's working with schools. That's the two go together for sure.
Bro, you find parents nowadays who they take the kid, maybe school starts at 7. Kid is up at like 5, 6:30. They get to school. After that, it's aftercare. They probably get back home at like 6, 7. When do you have the time to instill discipline then? Like, parents, keep your kids, man. Keep your kids to yourself. And this weird comment, like, you always have one of these people, and this person says, was it a black student? How, Sway? Like, why?
I'm like, honestly, I must comment this one. I must comment this one. I'm like, there is such a deep-rooted issue that we are discussing here, whether it's accountability or personal responsibility. And this person is way more obsessed with whether it's a black kid or whether it's a colored kid or the skin color. I mean, the skin color does not matter of the individual. It's the actions that actually count. And I'm like, my God, just because whether it is a black student or not, that does not represent all black people. Or whether it's a colored person, does not represent all colored people. I think we should focus on this individual situation. And even more broadly speaking, Bali, I'm even now thinking of the fact like how deep-rooted a lack of responsibility is in South African schools, or even just in our education system, because I was thinking of another TikTok that our viewers should check out, is about students actually burning down buildings at the University of Limpopo because they were upset about allowances not taking the proper processes or some complication there. And I'm like, that is a deep-rooted issue that, you know what, because people feel like there's not accountability, they take matters into their own hands like that. And I mean, when we speak about, we can advocate so much until we are blue in the face about, you know, we need an improved curriculum. We need better incentives for teachers to perform better. We need school vouchers. We can advocate for all these things, which we do. But at its core, there is also an aspect of responsibility that comes first from not only learners, but also from the parents. And that's why I'm like, if we demand that our education must be respected, we need to show that respect first. And that's why I definitely think that's something to take into
account. Yeah, definitely. I think Sheldon summed up that very well before he you know, did the things there. Yeah, you can go, Alice.
Vali, if I can just add it, what these kind of lazy comments reveal is how disgusting racialism is. It's like it really, like, race here is the least important aspect. What's more important is what does this kid's home look like? What is his parents' situation? What is what else is going on in his life? Like, really, this is the last thing that really matters in this case. Like, it helps. It doesn't help. This doesn't help at all. What are you supposed to do with this information? So what? We don't even know. I don't know what race this kid is. That's absolutely
literally. I don't even know. They didn't even share the race to show that it actually does not matter. But guys, I think we've come to the end of our episode today. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me on this episode. And you at home, thank you for always reacting to our content. Keep doing that, and catch this episode on YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. And do remember, your freedom is worth fighting for, like Sholin's minions. Bye.